Oh, it's a great building, very, very great building. 1885. It was originally built by Frisco as their furniture staging place for all the offices in the entire company. So if somebody in Chicago needed a new chair for their desk, then the train would stop here. They would load it onto the train and then off it would go. So that was the original purpose of the building. Then it became a shoe store and was connected to the building next door to us. This was the men's side, that was the women's side. And we actually have customers that met at that archway between the men and the women's side. Yeah, they're a much older couple, but they are customers. It's very nice. After the shoe store, I'm really not sure what it was. When it was empty for many, many years, it was a drug testing facility for the government when I came into the building. They left for a bigger building, and then I acquired the building.
And then time-wise, when did you come in? When did you take over this?
2008, we were at the farm. We started the farmers market. We were there about 3 years, and then I went into a brick and mortar across the street. It was an empty building that I'd been looking at. I just stood and looked at it for 3 years, just going, oh, I want to put a business in there. One day I saw some men come out of it. I ran over there and asked them what they were going to put in the building, and they said, what would you like to put in the building? And I said, I'd like to put a bakery. So that's what we did, and we were sisters in time at that time. And then 4 years ago, we became Basilico Italian Cafe.
Yeah, I was just doing something one day, and then I looked over and there was a figure standing here, and he had on overalls and a train hat, like the old conductor hats. Mm-hmm. And he was just standing there looking at me, but didn't say anything, didn't do anything. So we just nicknamed him Frank.
Okay.
Yeah. But he was standing right here.
Our building has people that came with the building. When I bought the building, they came with it. One in particular is a gentleman named Frank, and he's a railroad lineman. He comes out of the wall right here. He's really funny. He scares people. He, when we were painting the walls orange, we were facing this way, and then all of a sudden, here he was next to us. He's like, I don't like orange.
Really?
Really? Much scared my employees about half to death.
Do you just call him Frank, or do you know that that's...
It's Frank. No, his name's Frank.
Like
his name is Frank, yes.
Like, yeah, so who is this?
Yes. I'm not really sure who Frank is. I really don't know. I just know that he worked for the railroad, and this is where he resides. You know, he's he doesn't cause any problems. He's, you know, non-intrusive. He just doesn't like the color orange, apparently. We did have a customer in here one day who's a part of a ghost hunting association, and he said, you know you got ghosts in your thing right there, right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, you know, you got kids in there too. And I said, no, I did not know. I just said, I know that anytime I open the door, everything is just thrown everywhere. And then when we clean it up, the next day, everything is just thrown everywhere. So his advice was to send somebody in that was a parent, a mother, with a motherly tone, and tell them to behave and go home. And so I had one of my employees who was a mom do that, and it pretty much stopped.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very happy about that. It was a mess. So this wasn't hanging yet, but my employee was painting this wall here, and she was sitting on a crate, and then just walked right up beside her and said, orange, huh? I don't like orange. And then just missed it away.
Wow.
It's gone. I mean, I was just like, it was kind of stunning a little bit. But it you know, it's not like you walking out of the wall. I mean, they're not completely solid bodies. You know what I mean? They're apparitions.
I mean, does it look like what we might have seen in movies?
Yeah, because we were able to, well, I don't know about movies, but for me, we were able to see that he had on overalls, like the uniforms of the people that worked on the railroad and stuff at that time, or people that worked in the machine shops, things like that. So that's why we're assuming that he was a railroad worker.
So this battery on this camera was charged up with the light, the external light, and if you'll notice the external light's full, it just has one little divot gone, and the battery is already about dead on the camera. As you see, it's beeping to tell us, and it was charged up as well as the external light that goes with it. They're separate pieces of equipment, but they go together, and so I charged them together, and when I unplugged them to come here, they were both fully charged. Now not so.
What does that mean?
It could be spirit activity, drawing energy from our equipment, our batteries. They use that for to create the EMF field, to feed themselves. That's, we eat food, they have EMF, and that's how they suck the juices out of batteries. So they're having dinner. It's very hot. What I'm not sure. Look at that.
Just the warm. Oh, wow, yeah.
No, battery low. This thing,
battery.
yeah, it's on this. It's not on my phone, but my phone's dying too. But this was on charge all day. But there's a heat signature on that chair.
Doesn't it seem like it's on the chair and then
On the table.
on the table?
Right there, it's very
Almost
hot.
like somebody's like leaning there.
Like somebody sitting there leaning forward. And there's no light over it that would cause it. It's not, there's no heat right there is what I'm trying to say, a vent or anything, but every time I go back.
How soon does a heat signature for someone sits there?
It will very quickly. It just as long as it doesn't last for very long. Look, and they were plugged in all day. I don't have electrical problems at my house, I promise you. So, we can plug it in, see if maybe it'll get enough juice to work. It's just the tablet part.
Probably your pain with the equipment.
Could be, very much so.
Come maybe in this area, just because one, I keep feeling like a draft.
Sure.
And this is also where he was
at?
the most.
Yeah. Let me get.
I did have a funny one earlier with the other equipment. I had a cooler draft, but the temperature went up 3 or 4 degrees. It was kind of, but I'm not trusting that. Yeah.
Right? Like, is it
Cooler?
feel cooler? Like,
Yeah.
just sort of right here.
Oh, there's a lot of heat right there. Here, hold that. Let me see what it's, yeah.
It's a big cooler.
Ah, there you go. Found the,
Yeah.
ooh. I was just standing there and felt pushed, honestly.
Yeah.
Tony had to grab me because I was gonna fall. Wow.
Not so friendly.
Maybe he didn't like me talking to him. Because back in the day, women were meant to be seen and not heard. That was weird.
Yeah, but I've also heard too that, when somebody likes them, like boys especially, they're like, pull
Yeah.
the girl's hair. And
Oh no, I was just standing there and felt this, and it just totally knocked me off. Tony grabbed me, or I'd have fell over. I wasn't expecting it. I got what looks to me like a pair of legs and a waist, and there's nothing in there that looks like that. And I tried several times.
And too bad that thing's not working.
So we got here, we got set up, we were setting up our little equipment. Numerous equipment failures, batteries draining. No, it's not gonna work at all. And now I just killed it. Our proximity meter, I blew it up, it started smoking. Cameras dying on stuff that has been setting on charge all week. The SLS, we didn't get any footage of that today because I got here, plugged it in, and the tablet was dying. It's been a very good experience. Lots of things going on that we can't explain. Hopefully we'll get to come back and visit.
There's no denying. There are spirits in this building. There's spirits on Commercial Street. And there's probably spirits in a lot of places that people just don't want to say.